To go along with any cover letter, you must have a resume. And a resume has a number of different parts, and we're going to kind of go through the resume parts. The first part is the heading itself. Make it stand out. Have your name in it, right? Your contact information. All of that should be part of your resume. Uh, the next part is some objectives or goals. This used to be sometimes controversial on whether to put it there or not, but the latest waves of resumes now are including objectives and goals in them. And I would make them specific to your job that you're looking for, right? Make it specific to it, not just a generic objective or goal. Again, be specific on those goals, right? Targeted towards that specific job. The next thing you'll want is education. If you don't have a lot of work experience, you'll really want to have education as the next section after your objectives and goals. And it's always listed in reverse chronological order. What that means is you have the most recent first. So your education at UW Whitewater at Rock County should be first, right? And then your high school should be after that. One thing back on education is whether to put a GPA on it or not. If you don't feel comfortable putting it on there, you don't have to. But do realize they're going to want it at some point or another. So it really doesn't matter if you have it on there or not. Experience. Be concise and direct with your experience. Use active verbs. List in reverse chronological order again. Whatever you're doing right now, if you're working right now, that should be first. What you did last year, if it was a different job, should be, after that, right? So do it in reverse chronological order. I have a list on Canvas of different active verbs and things that you should use for writing a resume. So in your, then after that, you should write about your skills, right, and your achievements and activities. List these, of course, related to the job prospects themselves. A lot of things that you don't really need to put on there is to say, I'm really fluent with Word or something like that. They should hopefully know that you are at this point. It is good if you know other languages to say if you're fluent in the written or just spoken language. So if you're bilingual or multilingual, that's always a good thing to have on there also. Last is do not put resumes on your references on your resume. The references should be, you should have references available. It should be on a separate sheet. You do not hand it in. They will ask for it if they want it, and most likely they will, but have them ready. And a little bit about references, make sure that they know that you have them as a reference. Just don't put someone down unless you get their permission. Because the last thing you want to do is have some company call them and say, yeah, you're a reference for John Klinger. And they're like, who in the heck is John Klinger, right? So you really want people to know that they are your reference. One thing, if you ask me to be a reference, I will request that you send me also your resume. I want to know and be smart about you, right? So whatever you do and whenever you get a reference, give them your resume. Tell them who you're going to be interviewing with, right, if they're giving it out. So the person who answers the phone can talk intelligently about you. The last thing I want to do is answer the phone and say, who are you? I'm your reference, or who and what company are you? And it just does not come across well. So be real careful with your references. Of course, it says to keep your resume to one page. If you have a lot of experience, sometimes it's okay to go over. A lot of times resumes are done online, so that also throws things a little differently than if there was a written one that you would hand in. Remember, companies are trying to find reasons to get rid of you, right? And so some things that they will do is look for grammatical mistakes. because they feel if you have a grammatical mistake, you don't really care enough about the job, and they will throw your resume out. So always proof it, edit it, give it to other people to review, all those types of things. It's very, very important to do. You may be someone that doesn't have a lot of experience, right? This website is linked on Canvas also, and it will take you to this on how to write a resume for someone with no experience. And you know what? My first job, I didn't have a lot of experience either. When I got my first internship, I worked as as a caretaker for a retired lawyer, right? And I was a bartender. You kind of like, what are those skills? What do I have? Well, with that, you can pull out and create skills that they're looking for. One is that you're dependable, right? I worked for a retired lawyer, and I stated on there that he was gone most of the time, and I had to self-direct myself to the work to be done, right? And I worked for the person for multiple years, so obviously I was doing a good job, right? Bartending, right? Being able to take care of customers, just like at McDonald's, right? Sometimes you get customers that are upset with you. How do you deal with customers like that? How do you make sure your attention to detail is really good so that your your money drawer is always balanced at the end of the day, right? Maybe you close 90% of the time, things like that. Those are all important things for companies to know. The next section, what we're going to talk about is interviews.